Initiation. When I was on the soccer team in high school, we used to have to travel to our away matches, sometimes as much as 5 hours away, and that was one way, to faraway places like Madawaska. The Owls, by the way, up there in Aroostook County, right near Canada. I remember most of the names of the mascots of Maine high schools. Fort Kent Warriors, Presque Isle Wildcats. I don't remember all of them, but I do know most of them. Belfast Lions, Bucksport Bucks, Brunswick Dragons. And one of the coolest ones was the Holton Shire Towners. Now that's a name. Anyway, during these long trips on a school bus, the varsity upperclassmen at some point during the soccer season would have what's called initiation. The freshman or any new player would have to recite the song, and if they messed up the song at any point during its delivery, they'd get pounded on. Wicked. And I guess the song had been passed down from generation to generation at Ellsworth High School. Or perhaps it was first begun by our coach, who went by the name Skinner. No idea why he was called Skinner, to be honest. I never asked, but I did know that he was a soccer coach at Ellsworth for probably like umpteen years before I got there, and another umpteen years after I left. He was quite successful, I may add, and he always wanted to win. Anyway, the song had to be recited perfectly, as you know. If you messed up at any time, you'd get pounded on. And the song went something like this. Pass the ball, go down the wing, and maybe we will score. Hey, and if we don't, we'll hustle like hell and run and gun some more. Hey, we'll head the ball and trap it too. We'll go to the outside. Hey, pass it square, cut right through. The Eagles score with pride. Oh, you see, I messed up there. I included the hays, and you're not supposed to. I would have gotten pounded on. And when I say pounded on, I mean pounded on with plastic cups. I'm not talking about the plastic cups you drink out of. I'm talking about the plastic cups that boys wear to protect themselves during a soccer game. And some of these cups were taped up with athletic tape. All the holes, covered with the tape. And those holes were there for ventilation, But now they had to be taped up to hold whatever it was that they were going to make you drink. Rumor was that it was Coke, or Coke with spit, or maybe with something you didn't even really want to know about. And all of this, of course, happened on the back of the bus, headed up to Madawaska to play the Owls. Skinner sitting in the front seat, facing forward, and the bus driver, also not oblivious. And I remember there were like 10 of us, the 10 of us that were freshmen on the team that year. I was on the JV, but didn't matter. We were all in it together. We all had a couple of weeks to memorize the song. I don't even know if you're given the words. I think maybe somebody had to sing it to us, or we had to remember it or somehow figure out what the song was and then practice it. And practice I did. I practiced and practiced, all the while with the worry that I was going to get beat up and bruised or battered, or I don't even know. And I was not the strongest or largest player on the team. I was actually the smallest. And there were much more mature guys on the team. Jason Cave and John Lynch, Tommy Dickus, Todd Merrill, Chris Turner, and who else? And Ed Farnsworth, Russell Torrey, Michael Dugan, and Tim... Oh, what was his name? Oh, Tim Scott. You may have heard of him. Our senior year, he was Mr. Basketball. Well, that was our freshman class. And once we learned the song, we talked amongst each other in the study hall or before practice in the locker room about what we thought was going to be done to us. And there were many different hypotheses as to what that was going to be. And looking back, I'm sure that many of the captains, and there were 3 on the soccer team that year, I'm sure they had way too much fun spreading fear amongst the team. Anyway, the day came when we went to Madawaska, and I remember feeling an uneasiness and nervous tension because we simply didn't know when the initiation was going to take place. Like, was it going to happen on the way up there or on the way back? We simply didn't know. And all of the freshmen during that trip had to sit up in the front of the bus, up near Skinner. And I remember you couldn't look backwards at all at any time. You had to keep your eyes face forwards at all times. For when they called your name, you had to go directly to the back of the bus for your initiation. Well, I think they called John Lynch first, and he went back there, all to a lot of fanfare. The back of the bus, they were all riled up, and poor John, he started reciting the song, and they shouted out, "Hey, he's trying to mess him up." And he certainly did mess up. Like, immediately. And then he got pounded on. He had shaved his head, I remember. He'd shaved it bald, and I remember seeing some of those bruises on his head and a couple of big dents from the cups, and he actually may still have them today, I don't know. All I know, he was never quite the same. And they went through all of us, and there were a few that didn't mess up, I believe, that came before me, but there were also a few that didn't make it through and they got pounded on. I was second to last to be called for whatever reason. My cousin Johnny, he was the goalie and he was sitting in the middle because he was one of the captains. He was a senior and I was a freshman. And I remember when they called, Andy Lisle. And I went back there and I got a welcome of some wraps on my head with some cups, and I sat right down on Johnny Ballard's knee. And he kind of coaxed me over and said, "No, Andy, sit over here." And I was on 2 or 3 players' knees. And I know that some of the seniors, they were all huddled around me. Some had mustaches. And I don't remember being scared. I just remember saying to myself, I hope this is over soon. So I started in on the song, and a couple of seniors chimed in and they tried to mess me up, yelling, "Hey, hey, hey." But I held steady. And when I got to the last word, pride, it ended. And they all gave a big cheer, gave me some wraps with the cups, some newies and a couple Charlie horses to my leg, and then some more wraps with the cups. And then they gave me a cup with that black, flat, foamy liquid. Said, "Drink it." And I did. I don't remember much about the game against Madawaska. All I know is that we won, 1-0. And I think John Lynch scored the only goal that day, a header. I do wonder how he slept that night and whether or not he had a concussion from being pounded on. And I remember that song. It's still stuck in my head. I sing it sometimes when I'm feeling anxious or feeling like I'm going into something and I don't know what to do. Or that I don't want to do it. Or something that I don't want to do. Pass the ball, go down the wing, and maybe we will score. And if we don't, we'll hustle like hell and run and gun some more. We'll head the ball, trap it too. We'll go to the outside. Pass it square. Cut right through. The Eagles score with pride.